Hey everybody, it's Chris. If you're a sports fan like me, or you're just a fan of a great story, you gotta check out Press Box Access, a sports history podcast hosted by Todd Jones. Todd sits down with fellow sports writers who experienced firsthand some of the biggest sports moments of the past 50 years, and they share some of the stories behind the stories, some of which they've only told to each other. What I personally love are the wild stories that you might not hear so much about on SportsCenter over the years. Like when Indiana-based sports journalist Bob Kravitz recounts the time Bobby Knight showed up naked to an office meeting with him and then banned him from the Hoosiers locker room for the next 3 years because Bob wrote a story he didn't like. Or when Alexander Wolf tells the story about going out on the town in Chicago with Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra in the middle of a Bulls playoff series. Or when Dan Wetzel talks about what it was like to be in the media room when Temple basketball coach John Chaney stormed into UMass coach John Calipari's press conference after a game and threatened to kill him. These wild and fun stories, paired with stories about real sports greatness, you know, like the 1970s Steelers being the greatest NFL dynasty ever, or the legendary rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and even the impact of protests for social justice issues in sports, make Pressbox Access a show you should check out. Pressbox Access is part of the Evergreen Podcast family, and it's available all the places you get your pods, and you can also find Pressbox Access on YouTube. Go check it out.
Hey, are you planning to get an updated COVID-19 vaccine?
Yep. I don't want to get seriously sick and miss out on spending time with friends and family.
Does it cost a lot? I don't have insurance.
If you don't have health insurance, or if your insurance doesn't cover an updated COVID-19 vaccine, you can get one for free with the Bridge Access program. Just look for places that participate in Bridge Access on vaccines.gov.
Sounds good. Bridge Access on vaccines.gov.
A message from CDC.
One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever. And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder?
So here we are, guys. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. I can't believe the passage of time is an insane thing. And as we're recording this, we are 30 years from the year 1994. We've all been waiting for this one. It's a monumental year for music. Some might argue, including myself and maybe some people in this podcast right now, might argue it's the best year for music ever. But before we get to that, this also happened to fall just by chance, or maybe we planned it that way, on Tony Hartman's birthday. And if I knew it was going to be that kind of party, Tony, I'd have stuck my dick into mashed potatoes, if you know what I mean.
Nice. I do.
Hooray, birthdays.
Out of context, though, if somebody doesn't know what you mean, it's a messed up thing to say.
Yeah.
who would invite someone to a party that would do that?
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Maybe we'll get to that eventually, listeners, if you don't know what we're talking about. But we're not trying to name drop here. What we're trying to do is draft albums. Now, here's the deal. We got the regular four. We got myself, Matt Kelly, we got Matt Milligan, and we got Tony Hartman here. But we also, because 1994 is such a stacked year, we got Jim Logrando joining us this week in his first ever draft. I know you're excited about it, Jim.
I'm very excited. I really appreciate you guys inviting me to be on the show. I feel like I've been on a lot recently, and it's awesome because the best ability is availability. So I'm glad that I'm here. I'm gonna have a great time.
Hey, Chris, you have talked about this 1994 is the best year for music thing for as long as I've known you, and I always thought it's a pretty good year. My long list for this is 48 albums that are in the content. It is insane, and some of them are just albums I like that are a dollar value in the grand scheme of things, but there's I would say almost 10 albums that I would say the threshold is easily over $50 that someone would be willing to pay for. These are big, monumental, life-changing albums. 1994 was the year I discovered music. I knew music existed, but discovered that there was music outside of what my parents put on in the car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a very groundbreaking year for me. So
you agree?
I'm excited.
You agree that 1994 is the best year for music?
I'm definitely converted into, at a bare minimum, it's a top 3 year. We'll see what comes in the future drafts over the years, but it's going to be a tough one for anyone to beat year wise.
You all know the drill here. For any listeners who don't know, here's how it works. We all have a theoretical $100, and we all have to have 5 albums at the end of this. So we have to manage our money. And part of this is there's some sort of scenario usually that we have. Well, in the past you're going to an island where you're going to have a party with all your friends, and what 5 albums are you going to draft? And your CD player is broken in your car and you can only have 5 CDs in there. This time we're raising the stakes for the best year ever. These 5 albums you draft, it's going to be as if 1994 never existed. And whatever albums you draft are going to be saved. We are all going to remember these albums, but all the albums that you don't draft, they're going to be kind of like that. What's that Beatles movie where no one remembered the Beatles except one guy? Yesterday. It's going to be kind of a reverse Yesterday situation where all of the albums that aren't drafted are going to be forgotten. And in your situation, it's going to be just those 5 albums are going to be the ones that move on. Yeah. So the stakes are high is what we're getting at here.
The stakes are high. And at the end of the day, what I like about these stakes is that no matter what, we're collectively going to save 25 albums.
Well, I guess that's
from existence. Yeah. Even if I lose out on an album, knowing that someone has kept it into the ether makes that burn a little less. Well,
that's coming at it from a very friendly place. I like that. Collectively, we are rescuing 25 albums.
Yeah. But each one of us individually only gets to own 5 of them.
Yes.
25 albums.
And our listeners will get to go to the One Hit Thunder Facebook group and vote for who did the best. And I think those are the only 5 that should survive.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and the other thing, just because this was a big enough year that we actually had a group text beforehand to clarify some rules. We established no greatest hits.
Right.
Albums are allowed for this, but we did say it was okay to do a live album, or I think someone said a soundtrack if you dare.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Because there are a couple notable live albums and soundtracks from this year.
I was going to say, there's at least one soundtrack that was released in 1994 that I believe a lot of people consider one of, if not the greatest movie soundtrack of all time.
There you go.
And maybe we'll get there. But
maybe we will.
Since it's his day, we're going to let Tony go first. But here's a rule that I have to throw out. One more rule. Round 1, whatever album you nominate for bidding, you have to start at $20.
Okay.
Round 2, you got to start at $10. Round 3, you got to start at $5. And then round 4 and 5, you can start at $1. So because there's so many good albums, why even beat around the bush here?
Yep.
Not to name drop. Didn't mean to name drop there.
Well, let's say Tony gets to pick the order.
Yes.
Which also I'm sure includes picking himself first.
Yes.
Because
it doesn't really matter what the order is, but Tony, you can pick the order.
I'm going to be honest. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much, fellas and to Thunder Nation, for the attention on my birthday. I love attention, especially on a birthday, especially online. I will be picking myself first.
Right.
Make no mistake. I will throw out the first album, and then in order on my screen, it's Matt Kelly, Chris, Jim, and Milligan. So I think that's the way we're going to go.
That's fine.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Pretty obvious one thrown out here first is going to be Green Day Dookie for $22.
Okay. The bidding starts at 22.
I'll go 30 on it right now.
I'll go 40 on it right now.
I'll go 42 on it right now.
Wow. Okay. I'll go 45.
I'll go 46.
50.
I'm going to let you guys have it. I mean, I know it's an amazing album. I'd love to have it in my roster, but to blow half of the budget on Dookie.
51.
Matt Kelly
55.
Wow, birthday boy coming
out
in.
of nowhere.
He did get Venmo'd $50 before we started.
I did, yeah.
I know Tony was bragging about his birthday Venmos before we started.
Yeah, and this is a great use for it. I mean, just like the title track from the album, I do it all for the Dookie. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that song.
That's true. It's a classic.
I will go all in.
All right. I really can't justify blowing that much of my budget on this album. So I'm going to tap out at 55. It's Tony.
Tony.
Unless anyone else wants to go for it.
So Tony's at 55 on Dookie. Is anybody? So Jim and Matt are out. Matt Milligan, are you in or out?
Yeah, I haven't said anything yet.
I know.
I really thought I was going to insert myself in there at some point, but you've really taken it. I think I have to be out.
Okay.
I feel good about this. I've never gone all in on a superstar, so
I'm going to let the birthday boy have it.
Sweet. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Here's the thing, Tony. I came into this draft, and in my mind, I said, as long as I get Green Day Dookie, I'm happy. So I'm unhappy the rest of this. But it was. Here's the reason why. I think that one of the things we don't do enough when we do these drafts is actually, give these albums their flowers beyond just the bidding. Like, it was the song When I Come Around that made me realize that there was more to life than the Motown that was in my parents' car all the time.
Would you say that it made you come around?
It made me come around to music. But, I mean, this was my first favorite band, and this was my first favorite album. Like, it was a pretty big album, and I would say that almost every person on this call's life was in some way probably affected by hearing Kerplunker Dookie from Green Day and being like, oh, this is music that exists.
Could I give it a quick flower?
Sure.
The first song that I heard from Dookie and kind of opened my eyes to Green Day was Longview. And to be honest, it was a song that as a young kid, it was like, it's all right to beat off.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a flower to give it.
I was also just going to say to Chris as a fellow bass player, also a young bass player, Longview is game changing.
Sick.
Like that was
Sick.
a life changing experience hearing a record like that. Like I had no idea you could play bass like that in a punk band.
Yeah.
What about the most iconic 90s image, at least to me, is I think it's like a fisheye photo of Billy Joe like holding a joint up to the camera. I remember seeing that and just being like equally completely horrified, and like the dude looks cool. I don't know.
And let's just say, for the sake, you spent $55 on this, you get the version of the album that has Ernie on the back of it.
Hell yeah.
I think that's only fair.
In the original photo, it's Ernie crowd surfing across a mosh pit.
I have that version.
Yeah. It's a great version. And last thing I'll say before I throw out my bid, because I'm next in the order, is like, this is one of those albums where even, it has those 3 or 4 massive singles, but there's really not a bad track to be found on Dookie. Like,
that's awesome.
Like, Pullin' Teeth is one of my absolute favorite Green Day songs. That song fucking rules.
Yeah.
Burnout is a great opener. Like, there's so much good.
Matt, I love that. That is seminal album, Matt Kelly, Chris Fafalius. $55 too much for him. Gotta let it go.
Hey, there's too many
more
this
money.
year.
Minds just gotta
look. All right, so I think that we all agreed that there were 2 albums that were going to be the first 2 that got called out. So I might as well go for that second one. I'll start the bidding at $25 for the self-titled Weezer album, also known as the Blue Album.
Boy. Well, I might as well just go 50.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
Why beat around the bush here, guys?
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna go 51. Okay. I'll spend it on Weezer. I'll save it for Green Day, but spend it on Weezer. Why not?
I'll go 52.
53.
I'll go 54.
Let's match Tony with $55.
Okay.
Nice.
So wow, this is really the mark right now, 55. I'll go 57.
I'll go 60.
Wow. There he is.
I'm gonna bow it. I was gonna leave it at 57 for the Pittsburgh Kid, but here
60. Wow.
I had to bust that up.
So it's still not yet the highest ever that someone paid, I believe.
No,
maybe.
that was a Ben Gibbard record of some kind.
Yeah,
it was 2 Ben Gibbard records.
Oh boy, there's so many good albums this year. But this? Jeez.
I was going to say, Chris, if you go, theoretically, the cap out on this is roughly, I want to say $80.
Yeah,
you can't go past 80 without
I think you can go. I think you can
ability.
go past. You can go past. You just won't be able to nominate that round.
You need 17 left after round 1.
You need
fine,
17.
Guys. Fine. 61.
I'm just throwing numbers out there.
I'll go 61.
Yeah, 62.
Oh, wow. I'm taking a look at my list right now.
70. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, Tony's officially
Tony is priced out.
been
Check your
very-
Venmo, dude.
yeah.
See if you can afford more.
I'm on a separate stream raising. I'm on Twitch. Like,
Doing
please
a
send me
fundraiser.
money. Yeah.
What are we at? Are you at 62 right now?
He's at
I said
$62
62.
right now.
Oh, boy.
So it's a real battle here. It's between a man who played a Weezer Blue Album tribute before in his band and a guy who played every single song Weezer's ever released
Yeah.
for an entire day on a live stream.
That
Which is
is-
how I know
and
how
is
good the
also-
Blue Album is.
And is
Who-
also
who
in a
cares
band that
more?
I assume sometimes people are like Weezer? Like, I assume there's some.
I love
That
Teenage
happens.
Dirtbag by Weezer.
Yeah, I say sometimes meaning every day.
Yeah.
Oh, you 63.
Oh, man. Wow. Bravo.
I love these numbers. It's great. I'm glad you guys are out here doing it and making it happen.
Fine, 64.
Wow, 64. God damn. And notice that Matt Kelly's been quiet too.
Oh no! At this point, as much as I love this album, I'm like, all right,
Just
let's
waiting
just
for-
let one of these. Let's just let one of these guys get to the point where, in an opening bid, I can block them from even putting in for the next record.
Sure.
All right. Well, we know he's priced out. Matt's out. Jim, are you out?
Yeah, I just think there's too many great albums we're going to be bidding on to blow the entire budget on. I mean, this is hands down one of the very best albums of 1994, if not in the eternity of music. So I can understand why these numbers are so high, but we got to fill out a roster, dog. So I got to keep that in the old wallet.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you have it.
All right, that's $64.
$64. Not the highest anyone's ever paid for an album on here.
Not the highest. And that's why it's a steal.
Yeah, but I think that's the highest anyone's going to go on this because,
Probably.
like Jim said, there's so many albums to like kind of block yourself out. You're down to $36.
No regrets, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
No regrets. This is...
All right, well, Chris, I guess we'll throw some flowers. I mean, the fact that we spent $64 on this album's plenty of flowers, but I mean, it's the Blue Album. If you're listening to One Hit Thunder, you've listened to the Blue Album.
I actually think looking at, and there's going to be a couple others, especially as we enter some other genres that I'm seeing on my list here, but in the rock world, I think two albums that without a doubt are like game-changing albums in music, like a before and after point. Dookie and the Blue Album, I think both are like so seminal in like changing the course of like hundreds of other bands to follow them.
And another one where there's not a bad track to be found on that album.
No.
Those are just 10 perfect songs.
Yeah.
Well, is it my turn? Yes.
Yeah, it's your turn, Chris. What are you throwing out?
There's another album from this year that I think changed the face of music, and it's why I didn't go higher on Weezer. And it was, I probably had 20 of their T-shirts in 1994.
I knew it.
Here we go. I'll start at the minimum here, $20 for the Downward Spiral from 9 Inch Nails.
I knew that was coming up.
I got 25.
27.
Well, I'm priced out.
You're not priced out. Oh, yes,
No, I
you
am.
are. Yes.
I absolutely
Yeah,
am.
you very much are. I'm good.
Wow.
So it's up to Tony. Tony could maybe
I
blow the
could, but
rest
I
of
won't.
his- Okay, so it's between Jim and Chris on this.
Okay.
Chris, I know how much this album means to you, so I'm going to let you spend your $27 on it.
Really?
You can
I
have
just
it.
got
Go
this?
out.
Yeah.
You got
For
it. You got
27
it.
bucks? Oh my God, that's
That's
a
a
steal.
steal.
That's the steal. That's the best steal ever of One
That's
Hit
huge.
Thunder draft histories.
That's huge.
And Chris, you are the most industrial guy officially in the draft. That's nothing to sneeze at.
This is
Yeah. No.
this is one of the most incredible albums ever made. It is.
No, I'm not disagreeing. But here's the thing. I similar to Jim, like I like this album. You love this album.
Matt Milligan,
So, like,
if you had more money, would you have been in this
Of course.
one?
Of course.
Yeah, you
No,
you
I
agree with
think
me,
it's-
right?
I do completely. I actually think this is still the best Nine Inch Nails record
Yeah.
It's so good. It doesn't have Closer on it, which is now what everyone like.
Yes, it
No,
does.
it's on. Closer's on it.
Oh, Closer is on
the
Downward
only
Spiral?
The only song that I think the only big song by them that's not on this is Head Like a Hole, because that's on Pretty Hate Machines.
Right.
But it's got Closer. It's got
March of the Pigs.
March of the Pigs. It's got Hurt on it.
Hurt's
You're
on
getting
it. Hurt
Mr.
is on this
Self-Destruct.
album, guys. Hurt is
you're
on this
getting
album.
Reptile.
It's an
Big man with a gun.
Yeah. Unbelievable album. Thanks, guys. $27. I'll take it.
Not bad.
Let's
There
go.
you go. All right, Jim, you get to throw a name out there.
All right. Well, let's see. Looking at this list, I'll start the bidding for $20 on Soundgarden Super Unknown.
I'll go 21.
I'll go 25.
26?
I'm priced out again.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'll tap out on this. I know Chris isn't going for
No.
for Soundgarden, so yeah, you got it for 26.
Thank God
Nice.
that didn't go
That's
for more
sweet.
than the Downward Spiral.
Here's the thing, that's one that I love. That album. It was one of the early albums for me. It's probably the best Soundgarden album, but I do think that there's a couple very long filler tracks throughout that. It's like 17 tracks.
I'm
like,
surprised you're such a Soundgarden guy, Jim. I didn't know.
I mean, I think Soundgarden is great. I think that's one of the top albums of 1994. I was playing a little strategy there. I thought we'd get a little higher. I wasn't going to waste all the top great albums, and I kind of got stuck with it. So we'll see if I hold on to it later.
I saw what you were doing.
But I was trying to think, like, we can't have every amazing album from 1994 go in the first 5, and then we're like, let's fill the rest of it.
Well, we got to
with-
spend $20 on the first round. That's the problem.
Yeah,
and,
that's
and
the
Matt
problem,
Milligan is
too.
in a real situation here where he has to pick a $20 album and not get stuck with it.
I think I know one album that Matt Milligan would be willing to spend about $20 on that only one other person in this chat would bid him for.
I think I know the record you're referencing. And it's funny because I was going to not necessarily pick it yet. But actually, you know what? Let's do it. Why not? I'm going to pick a easily the least mainstream record that anyone has named so far. But a band that's very near and dear to my heart with what some would consider one of their best, or certainly one of their most commercially successful records, despite, like I said, not being commercial. Why am I doing a long intro? Ween, Chocolate and Cheese.
Oh, boy.
$20. Not even the one you were thinking about?
No.
He was thinking about me.
I was thinking about you.
21.
21? Hang on. I need a quick amount of math on what I can afford.
I think Chris actually already maxed you out.
Here's what I think. I think you should be able to bid. I just think if it comes to the round where you have to throw out a $10 album, you just don't get to nominate that round.
I don't know. I feel like that's part of doing
All right.
the money draft is being
Okay.
manageable with your
All
money.
right.
I mean, look, I will accept the fact that in exchange for getting the Weezer album, I have just handed Chris Fafalio's Chocolate and Cheese for $21. If that's what has happened to me, then that's fine.
I believe that's
Yeah,
what
let me-
has happened.
I think that's what has
Well,
just
wait.
happened. Unless someone else
Let
wants
me-
Chocolate and Cheese, which is an amazing record, and you should consider.
Yeah.
Allow me
I mean,
to sell you this record, guys. It's fantastic. Someone get it.
Technically, you had already maxed yourself out just by starting it at $20.
I think I just realized that as well. That would have actually capped me completely, which is fine. Again, it's fine.
All right.
That's all right.
So is anybody outbidding 21 on Chocolate and Cheese?
No, you got
Yeah,
it.
man, that's
You got
another
it.
one you got to have.
I can't believe that was a
list.
first round album, but I love that album. That album.
I knew you. It's so funny. I actually now don't even know what Matt Kelly was referencing.
The funniest thing, the way you were introing, I'm like, yep, I nailed it. I know exactly what he's talking about.
No one saw Ween Chocolate and Cheese coming. No.
I love it. I love it.
I can't wait until I throw this one out there. I'll wait until the $5 round.
So
Great.
I got 2 albums in the first round. I got
did?
Yeah.
Downward Spiral and Chocolate and Cheese. Man, that's a 1994 duo that I love. Oh boy.
Super solid.
Start.
All right.
Do either one of you want to throw some additional Ween flowers real quick before Tony throws out his first of round 2?
Well, this album, I don't know if it's the best Ween album, but it's probably the one that broke the most ground, I guess.
The first one that had like real like video content and like, Voodoo Lady and Roses Are Free and this stuff that started to like actually get played a
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and a cover that every kid has got to remember.
Yeah.
Yes. True.
Love it. $10 round.
Yeah, what's your $10 kickoff here for round 2?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with another fave that probably could have been a first rounder, but I had a poster of it in my room, and that is the Beastie Boys, Ill Communication.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna start it at 10.
10? I'll go 15.
I'll go 16.
17.
18.
19.
20.
22.
Man. 23.
25.
Matt Kelly needs an album.
This is a good one.
It is a good one.
I think I'm probably going to tap out.
Tony, are you tapping out too?
I'm tapping out on my own suggestion here.
All right, anyone else?
Going once. Going twice. Matt Kelly got himself an album. And Matt.
And not my favorite Beastie Boys album, honestly, but it's a very good Beastie Boys album.
It's a really good one. And also,
it's a really good one.
Yeah.
Now that we've got the album out there, I can tell you the story of where that shit, if this is going to be that kind of party, I'm going to stick my
from
dick in the
B-Boys
mashed
making with the
potatoes.
Freak, baby.
Do you want to know the story behind that real quick?
Go.
Sure.
So that saying, it's a sample from Manton Moreland, who is most famous for playing the black chauffeur in Charlie Chaplin's movies. But he was a comedian in the 60s, and he recorded a comedy album called That Ain't My Finger, which was released in 1965. Now, I got to tell you, when you listen to like old comedy albums, a lot of times they don't age very well. You're like, why do people think this is funny? I listened to this comedy routine this came from. I'm like, oh my God, that is incredibly funny. And basically, the story behind that is he's telling this story of a French girl who's taking English lessons, and she asks about the word fuck. And the teacher tells her it means to serve in English. And then she goes to the United States a couple weeks later, and she gets invited to a party. And so the story veers off to a story about this guy who's like a foul-mouthed guy who gets invited to this nice party, and his friends are like, yo, we're going to this party, but you can't, you got to keep your mouth shut. You can't be cussing and stuff at this party. So he goes to this party, and people are trying to talk to him. He's just keeping his mouth shut, not saying anything. And then this French girl walks past him, and she's going to get the chicken in the kitchen, and she stumbles over his feet. And then she says, and the French girl says, excuse me, I'm going to the kitchen to fuck the chicken. And his eyes light up, and he says, shit, if this is going to be that kind of party, I'm going to stick my dick in the mashed potatoes, which was really, really funny. You should check it out on YouTube. It's a funny thing.
Iconic album soundbite for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that was part of, there was a whole movement in the 60s and 70s where a lot of stand-up comedy albums specifically for African-American comedians are like literally recorded in someone's house.
Yes.
Like they just like would have a show at a house and do the stand-up there, because just the way that crowd reacts, that is not a club reaction.
It's so
in that
funny,
audio
too.
clip. Yeah,
it's so
like,
funny.
Man,
the way the delivery is so funny.
Oh,
his
man.
Netflix
Great
special,
album.
though, would be so cringe in 2024. Let's be honest.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about another album. I think this band has always been one of the most unfairly treated bands of the 90s. Record sales, they were always great, but the media always had it out for this group. And with their second album, they came out with something to prove, and I think they ended up making their best record. So for $10, I'm starting with the Stone Temple Pilots' Purple.
Good album.
Great album.
I'll go 11.
I'll go 12.
Oh.
We got two
This is
bits
where
for
I'm
12.
spending my grunge bucks.
Think Jim technically got the 12 in first there, Tony. So you're going to bring that up
I'll go to
13.
13.
Okay. I'll go to 15.
Oh, this is a good one. 16. This has Interstate Love Song on it. This is
And Vaseline, and it's got the track 3. I'm blanking on the name of it. Loungefly. Loungefly was the sound of MTV News throughout most of our childhood.
Dude, that is the most 90s song title I've ever heard.
Yeah. I'm going to go 20.
I'm out.
I'm out.
All right, you can have it for 20.
Yes. Yes. This I do believe is their best album. Just like Meat Plow's a great opening track. You've got, like you said, Interstate Love Song and Vaseline. The song titles in this album are insane. But Big Empty, we may be talking about Big Empty again on this episode. Who knows? But Big Empty is a huge track from there. Just a lot of good songs. I love Purple. All right, Chris.
Okay, I guess we might as well do it since you teed it up so well there, Matt. $10. I'll go with the Crow soundtrack. The Crow soundtrack, the greatest soundtrack ever.
$15.
Oh. I'll go 16 for the Crow soundtrack. We got that sick-ass Rage Against the Machine song on here. All the Dead Souls from Nine Inch Nails. Man.
I was going to say, to run it down real quick, The Cure, Stone Temple
Yes.
Pilots, Nine Inch Nails, Rage Against the Machine, The Violent Femmes, Rollins Band, Helmet, Pantera, Thrill Kill Cult, Jesus and Mary Chain. I mean, it's really...
The Rollins Band song on that soundtrack is so good.
The
Suicide cover, yeah.
The Medicine song on that album, The Time Baby. No, they don't have to take you away.
That's
I don't think I've ever heard another song by Machines of Loving Grace, but I remember really liking that song on the Crow soundtrack as well.
That is the most goth soundtrack. It is. I'm ready to put on my eyeliner the second I hear that thing. I mean, what are we at on it?
I think you had the last bid.
I'm at 16, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody going higher than 16 for the Crow?
I think I'm giving it to you.
Well, you're not the only one in the running here.
I'm just saying, I'm tapping.
I'm going to pass.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would go up to
I'm out
18.
too. Ooh.
Tony's going up to 18 on the Crow. Let me take a look at my list. Oh, there's some good ones.
Dude, this soundtrack just makes me think of karate lessons and Yarmer Yager. Those are like the two.
You sold me on it. 19.
Damn, I knew that would be used against me. I can't go any higher.
No higher? Do I have it? At 19?
You do. Going once, going twice. It's Chris's.
Wow, I'll take it.
Wow, Chris, you're up to 3 albums now?
Downward Spiral, Chocolate and Cheese, and the Crow soundtrack? Are you kidding me?
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And $33 still to spend.
I know.
Solid lineup. All right, I guess it's my nomination, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so starting at the $10 round, why don't we do this? How about Offspring, Smash? $10.
I was waiting for this
Starting
one.
bid.
$5.
I knew Chris wasn't going to be part of this bidding. I'll go 12.
I'll go 13.
14.
15.
16.
20.
Ooh.
22.
25.
26.
It's yours.
Thank you. I'll add that to the
Polite
mix.
ending,
No,
that
I
was.
understand. Like, I know that, Chris, you're like trying to turn it to give it back, man. I mean, are you sure you're not just clouded by the clowning that is the,
It's their, it's before they got
like-
really bad. Yes, I am clouded by what came after, but
okay, that's what I was gonna say.
it was, yeah.
like Pretty Fly for a White Guy pretty much ruined a lot of Offspring. But if we, it's
But that
1994,
album-
baby.
yeah,
That didn't
Smash.
we didn't live in that dystopian future yet.
Yeah, you're getting like Bad Habit. You're getting. I love the opening track to that song, Nitro Youth Energy. Like,
Gotta Get Away. If you were playing Nintendo in the late night and then the CD just kept going, it went into the weird
lounge thing.
There was it almost sounded like an Arabian Nights version of the single, because it's like the beginning of it. It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Self-Esteem was on that album.
Self-Esteem's on that. Killboy Powerhead cover is on there.
Yeah.
Even the title tracks. The title track Smash fucking rules.
Dude, yeah, Bad Habit. I mean, how could you not get down on an album that said fuck in 1994?
I think Chris would agree.
Yeah, I mean, it was necessary. It had to happen. It probably opened the door for a lot of good music and launching Epitaph Records and a lot of
I was
albums.
gonna say, I think I could be wrong, but this might still be the best-selling
I think you're right.
independent released
I think it
album
is.
of all time.
I think it is.
Like,
Yep.
all right, Matt Milligan, $10 kickoff here.
$10 kickoff, and I'm going with a different vibe than I think anything we've talked about so far. Another very established person, a kind of later in career record, but also a big sort of return to form, maybe. I don't know. I think this is one of this person's best albums ever, and it is the album Wildflowers by Tom Petty. And I will start the bidding at $10.
I'll go to 11.
I'm out on this
Same.
one.
Glad it exists.
I'm out on
but
this one too.
12?
Don't want it.
Milligan at 12.
13.
Remind us some of the songs.
Wildflowers. I mean, of course, that song. You Don't Know How It Feels. You
Good
Wreck Me,
song.
which is like one of my favorite Tom Petty
Ooh.
songs ever. You
Wow.
Wreck Me is on this record. Song called Time to Move On. That's also really great. I mean, the whole thing, to me, this is just one of those, like, it has those singles on it, but this is like an album. Like, this is like start to finish, just a gorgeous, gorgeous record.
Wow, You Wreck Me. I would have thought that was
You Wreck Me.
earlier than that.
I know. That's what, like, this was a big, like, he's like kind of, I mean, I don't think he ever really had that much of a bad period, but, you know, my understanding is when this came out, it was like, oh man, this dude is back in action.
All right. Well, Jim's at $13 right now on it.
Jim's at 13. I really spent a lot of money on the Blue Album.
But after this, the world's basically your oyster. As long as you have $7 still in your bank, you're golden.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. You know what? I'm gonna Jim's gonna have it.
All right.
There you go.
All right. I got 3. Chris
Well
has
done.
3.
Yeah. Yeah, I got 3. Well, Jim,
I was gonna
you have Offspring, Tom Petty, and what? Soundgarden?
Well, here I'll go down what everybody has.
There we go.
So
Boy.
Tony has $45 left to spend, and right now all he's got is Green Day Dookie.
That's all you need.
I've got $55 left to spend. I've got Beastie Boys Ill Communication and Stone Temple Pilots Purple.
Okay.
Chris has $33 left to spend. He's got 9 Inch Nails Downward Spiral, Ween Chocolate and Cheese, and the Crow soundtrack.
Woo!
Jim's got $30 left to spend. He's got Soundgarden Super Unknown, Offspring Smash, and Tom Petty Wildflowers.
Whoops.
Matt Milligan's got $36 left to spend, and all he has is the Weezer Blue album.
Sounds like me in high school.
For anyone who didn't see at home, fireworks went off on Matt Milligan's screen.
I
for
love
some
this new future we have. You do a double thumbs up and fireworks
even
go off
know
in the
what-
background.
can I-
It's so good. The future is awesome.
Hey everyone, let me take a quick minute to tell you about my experience with AG1. I'm sure I'm not the only person who's felt sluggish and stressed and not able to focus. But when I started drinking AG1 daily, I could feel a real noticeable difference in my daily health. That's because AG1 is a foundational nutrition supplement that supports your body's universal needs like gut optimization, stress management, and immune support. Since 2010, AG1 has led the future of foundational nutrition, continuously refining their formula to create a smarter, better way to elevate your baseline health. It's funny, when I first started drinking AG1, I sent a picture of it over to my friend Mike. He's a buddy of mine that's pretty health conscious, so I thought that maybe he'd like it too, and I was about to recommend it to him. But you know what his reply was to me? He sent me a photo right back of his AG1. He was already a step ahead of me. And since then, I've talked about it to him several times, and we both agree. AG1 makes us feel more energetic, makes our stress levels feel more manageable, and we feel like we're getting the nutrients our bodies crave. And that's why I'm proud to call AG1 a sponsor of One Hit Thunder. It's the supplement I trust to provide the support my body needs daily. If you want to take ownership of your health, it starts with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/onehit. That's drinkag1.com/onehit. Check it out. Hey everybody, I got to take a quick minute here to tell you about Factor. Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals make eating better every day easy. I was just staying with my friend Jim in Philly a few weeks ago, and I saw some Factor meals in his fridge, and I asked him about them, and he raved about how much he loved them, and so I had to find out for myself. And what I found out is that first and foremost, I love getting pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to my door. But I also love having over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more. And there's even over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make weekly meal planning even more delicious. So what are you waiting for? Get started today and have a feel-good week of meals ready to go. It only takes 2 minutes to heat a restaurant-quality meal, and it's less expensive than takeout while still being dietitian-approved, nutritious, and delicious. You can't beat that. You can also get as much or as little as you need by choosing 6 to 18 meals per week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule your deliveries at any time. There's no prepping, cooking, or cleanup needed. The meals are 100% ready to heat and eat. So if you're looking for fast upscale meal options done easily, head to factormeals.com/1hit50 and use the code 1hit50 to get 50% off. That's code 1hit50 at factormeals.com/1hit50 to get 50% off.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
Tony, kick us off. Round 3, $5
All right,
bid
so
minimum.
I have the album so far that shaped like 80% of what I like about music to this day. I really want the following album, which shaped a lot of what I like about music, but also like my sense of humor going onwards, which was, and I don't know if you guys consider this a comedy album. I do, but it's Beck, Mellow Gold. And I'm going to start it at
A comedy album.
the funniest. As a kid, the lyrics to this were so funny. The samples were really funny.
Yeah.
I don't think I differentiated music and comedy in this album at all. I used to
I mean, it has the lyrics get
Yes.
crazy with the cheese whiz in the first
Yes.
single, and then the next song talks about a giant dildo
Yes.
crushing the song.
I want it so bad I'm gonna start at 10 and hope nobody challenges me on that.
Well,
I'm going to challenge you a little bit. I'm going to go for $12 on this so far, just because, like, I think for a lot of people, they're going to be like, Beck Mellow Gold, all that has is Loser on it. But it's like, no, there are some incredible songs on there. The Truck Driving Neighbors Downstairs, Sweet Sunshine,
Beer
my
Can.
favorite track. Beer Can, my favorite track on there,
Oh, yeah.
Soul Suckin'
Yep.
Jerk. Like, that song is fantastic. And Motherfucker. Like, the song Motherfucker is so good. So I'm willing to put at least $12 on this.
I'll go to 15.
All right, I'll let you have it. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to speak.
is anybody else? Wait, you got
No, I'm gonna sit this out. I love. This is a fantastic record. I love that you called it a comedy album.
It's EDM comedy.
I mean, you're right. It
Yeah.
is really funny, but that just the sheer idea of it really tickles me. That's so funny. That's great.
Great. I got my favorite stand-up album of all time. So close to being mine.
All right, I'm gonna go with an album that, I mean, the amount of hits that this one album created is impressive by any standard. It's not something I would start the bidding at $20 for. It's not an album I would start the bidding for $10 for, but $5 seems just right to kick this one off. Live with Throwin' Copper.
2. I mean, the word placenta is sung on this album, everybody.
It's first and only time. But I mean, when you think about the hit, this has Selling the Drama, which was like, I feel like was in like every single teen movie trailer that year. There was All Over You was on there.
Is
Lightning
Lakini's
Crashes.
Juice? Is Lakini's
No, that's unfortunately the follow-up album. So I know
dang.
you are firmly out. All right. Is no one challenging me for this? Am I just walking away with $5 on Throwing
That seems
Copper?
like something Jim needs to add to his roster. his
I-
stacked roster over there.
I'm gonna pass on adding Throwing Copper into the mix.
Can I throw some copper? Can I throw some quick copper?
Go ahead and throw
Chris,
some copper.
I don't think you'll remember this, but it's a good story about Live. We played a show together in Red Lion, PA,
Okay.
which is where the band Live is from, of course. And there was like some girls at the show that like were bragging to me and PJ about like, yeah, well, everyone knows like Live is from here. It's kind of like, you know, why we're such an iconic music town. And I, without thinking twice, was just like, yeah, didn't they write a song called Shit Town about Red Lion, PA?
Yeah, they did. And
she's
it's
like,
on Throwing Copper.
Yeah, she's like, it's a complicated thing. They have complicated feelings about this. I'm like, yeah, they wrote a song about you guys called Shit Town.
Sounds pretty complicated.
And that was the whole conversation, but it
also has
probably the rudest I've ever been in my life.
I actually might be talking myself out of spending the $5 on this, but whatever. It also has the song Waitress, where the chorus is just, I need some change, some fucking change.
I'd say it's yours, Matt. $5.
Yep, nope, all right.
Yeah, I think it's yours. This was never, that never really did it for me.
No.
But I'm happy for you, Matt. Well done.
There we go.
I'm so happy for Matt right now. Okay, my $5. I have 3 albums already. Only 2 more to go, which is going to be really hard for me to narrow down what I want here. I'll just start bidding at $5 on Punkin' Drublic from NoFX.
Whoa.
Seminal punk rock album.
6.
7.
I'll go to 10 for that. That's a game changer.
12.
That is also a game changer. You just said 12, Chris?
Yeah.
13.
14.
Can't do it.
I think I might also be tapped out.
Wow. Jim or Matt?
I was never big on NoFX.
Yes. I'll take it. $14 for
14?
Punkin' Drublic. Wow.
Nice. Yeah, no, I love that record. That was also definitely a very, very big one for me.
Yeah.
For a long time, I thought it was their best record. I don't know if I still think it's their absolute best, but it's really good.
I still do. Yeah. Yep.
What other ones would you say is in contention there? I know I like So Long and Thanks
So Long and Thanks for All the Shoes. I'm like a huge fan of that one.
I really like Pump Up the Volume for one of their later albums. But
for a later record, Pump Up the Volume I think is really, really, really good.
I like White Trash.
And White Trash was the other one I was just going to say. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jim, it's your turn to throw a $5 bid out there.
All right. Well, I mean, there's so many to choose from. I know we're all going to get another one that we like. And I'm going to add to my eclectic mix by putting the $5 Bush 16 Stone.
There you go. That sounds perfect for Jim's lineup.
I want to say something about this album real quick, because this, probably of all of the albums, I was blown away that this was a 1994 release. Like, this feels like 1996 to me more than any other time.
Definite 96 vibes. Yeah.
I'm going to at least say 10 on this.
How about 12?
You can have it at 12.
Cool.
Wait,
This has
Tony or
glycerin,
Matt
right?
in this at all? Tony or Matt still have a...
Sorry. This is not another one like, and it's, I know they're not the same at all, but in my mind, this is right there with Live as like a band that just, I was aware of, but just this never spoke to me.
I would argue that Bush is a way better band than Live ever was. I mean, this album, this might be the album that produced the most massive singles out of any of the albums in 1994. But all of the singles were a year or two later, because you had Everything Zen, Come Down,
This is
Little
Machine
Things,
Head, right?
Machine Head,
Yeah.
Glycerine. Like, it had like 5 chart-topping hits
That's right.
on its 12 out of its 12 tracks, which is pretty
Lot of
fucking impressive.
A lot of guilty pleasures on this one,
Yeah.
but I don't think I really want to... I don't know. Yeah, it's all right. Not bad.
It's not bad.
I would pay for the video of him playing Glycerine in the Rain.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty awesome. But
Yeah.
I can't go too high on the whole album.
All right, fair enough. All right, Milligan, you can throw a $5 one out there.
Okay, I'm gonna put out. It's funny because no one has mentioned this yet, and maybe this is just there's so many big rock albums, but we have not named any hip hop records yet.
I
And there's
got
a
Beastie
lot.
Boys. What are you
Oh,
talking
you
about?
got. I apologize. Beastie Boys. I'm gonna put $5 on "Ready to Die"
Yeah,
by the
that's
Notorious
next one on my
B.I.G.
list.
That's a good one, but I feel like I would be spending my last album just for Juicy.
Oh no, so you said you're starting this with 5?
Yeah, it's his
5.
I'll go to 10. I'll go to 10 on this.
I'll go to 11.
I'll go to 15.
Wow.
15. 16.
18.
Kelly's boxing me out here.
Bullying.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go all the way up to 54 or 50 or sorry, you could go up to 33 and then just do $1.
Well, I know that, but I don't want
you
you to know that.
Listen, I'm the one in charge of money here. I know.
Wait, what did you just say? 18?
18, yeah.
20.
I will tap out at 20.
I feel good about that.
I wanted
Anyone else?
New York guy to get it. I wanted the King of New York to get it.
Yeah. I mean, to Chris's point, though, I mean, Juicy's great, but you also get Big Papa on there. You get Kick in the Door. Or no, Kick in the Door is the next album, but that has Give Me the Loot.
Give Me the Loot
my favorite.
Yeah, I mean,
that is the scariest song I have ever heard.
Yeah. Dude, just the way he's just like, motherfucking right, my pocket's feeling kind of tight. Like, he's just like, oh my God, this guy's going to kill me.
That song is impressive. It's also one of those, I mean, people can look up the lyrics themselves, one of those so intense that even the explicit version is edited.
Yep.
Yeah. Because remember that happened to Eminem back in the day too, where even the explicit version, the label was like, we're not letting you say this, like full stop. Like Biggie had that too. It is jarring to hear.
Yeah, Eminem's was a little different because it was that he called out a lawyer by name, and they're like, "We are muting that lawyer's name."
Yeah, no, there's even some on Marshall Mathers. I think some of Kim is also edited. Even on the explicit version.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
Yeah,
but I love that song. I love that album. I mean, the closing track, "Suicidal Thoughts," is like another really difficult song to listen to.
I'm very, very happy to be Team Weezer and Biggie. Right now.
I mean, if those are the only two albums you've got, you're doing all right.
I've done it.
And you still got $16 to spend.
Yeah,
so
now
the
it's
world's
not so
your
bad.
oyster.
Now it's not so bad.
All right, Tony, kick us off, round 4.
It's $1 time. You can start at $1.
Well, at the time of recording, it is still a new year, and I'm feeling like I'd like to be a bit more of a lad this year, a little cheekier. And that's why I would like, for $3, to throw out Oasis, Definitely Maybe. It's a great soundtrack if you're a football hooligan, and I'd like to have it in my collection.
I'm not going to be coming for this one.
You said $3?
Yeah.
I'll go $4.
This one doesn't really have the hits on it, does it?
It doesn't, but this is
what's
their...
the story, Morning Glory is the...
I don't know if it's a hot take. I think this is the best Oasis record top to bottom.
Ooh. I mean, that's
it's
probably...
The one, it's the
got
one
Live
for us
Forever,
true
which
lads.
is a great song.
Yeah. I want this one for me and the fellow lads. I'll go up to 5.
All right. Well, who am I to deny the lads?
All right,
Appreciate
so that
you.
one was
Cheers.
That one was for Tony and the blokes. So good work there.
Cheers.
I do think, honestly, though, like for anyone listening, including you guys, like I think that is the best top to bottom Oasis record in my mind. I know What's the Story, Morning Glory gets all the attention because it has Wonderwall on it and Don't Look Back in Anger, but this is a great record.
I'm gonna finally, for my $1, I'm gonna throw out the one that I thought that Matt Milligan was talking about when he threw Chocolate and Cheese out there. For $1, starting bid, Soul Coughing with Ruby Vroom.
It is on my list. Oh, that's funny, Matt. Yeah, you know, it's I was not sure if anyone was gonna care about this. And I feel...
You forgot that I was the one.
It's you. You're the one who's going to care about this. For $1... Well, I mean, what? How am I supposed to... $3.
I'll go up to 5.
6.
I'm going to let you have it.
Yes. I feel like you tricked me.
Mostly because you play bass for the guy who runs the band, I feel like.
I was going to say, I'm not... I almost felt like I needed to recuse myself from that one. I'm like too close to it. I did a retrospective tour playing that album in its entirety every night.
But
that's how I felt about Live. As an honorary member of Live.
You're just too close to it.
Too close.
No,
I get it.
But in all honesty, I think I've brought this up multiple times on the show, and I will continue to. I think that's an album that a lot of people don't know. Like, it's just not on their radar. If they even know the band Soul Coughing, they know like maybe Super Bon Bon or Circles.
Mm-hmm.
But that album is one of the absolute most bizarre, like Tom Waitsy avant-garde things that has ever come out, where it's like jazz upright bass, hip hop style samples, and this weird stoned out beat poetry all over it. And it's the craziest album. It's still probably one of the top 5 craziest albums I've ever listened to.
I am obviously biased, but yeah, no, it's amazing. Such a good record. Sounds like nothing else.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Man, so I have an industrial album, a weird alternative album, a goth soundtrack, and a punk rock album. I feel like this is so hard, but I'm going to put this out there because I definitely love this, and I don't know, there might be some fellow bidders on this. I'm going to throw it out. Boys to Men 2. I'll start at $1. I'll Make Love to You, On Bended Knee, Water Runs Dry, their cover of Yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having this in my collection. I think this needs saved from oblivion.
Yeah, I'd go to 3 for that.
I'll go 4.
I always forget every time we do these that Chris you're such a soul man. I love it. You bust it out, I'm like, oh yeah, shit. That's great. I don't have enough. I have like $6 left total.
You have $10. You have $10 left.
No, I have $6 left, according to my count. Oh wait, no, I'm wrong. Sorry, $10 left.
He's trying to be nice and say he doesn't want this Boys to Men album, Matt.
I do think it's really good, but no, I don't want it. You're right.
Yeah. Do I get it for 4?
I'd go up to 5. Those are some strong hits. Great singers. They seem like great guys.
Yeah. I'll go to 6.
Can I get a number crunch on my what
you
I got?
You have $25 to spend. Chris has 19.
I'll go up to 7.
I'll go to 10.
I'll go to 12. That's my final.
I am blown away. You guys are going this high. That's amazing.
I'll go to 13.
Is Tony a man of his word? Is he tapping?
I'm tapping. Yeah.
All right.
But I'm glad we got that one up that high. I think it deserves
Yeah, that's
it.
very respectable, especially at this time of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I just filled up my roster. I will get to nominate another album and decide if I get it, if I want to drop it, because I have some money left. But,
yeah.
Okay.
All right. Jim, you got $1 bid from you.
Got $1 bid. Let's see. What feels like a good record to round off this eclectic list that I have? Just see what makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. You're at 4.
Oblivion,
so
right?
This could be the closer for you.
There's so many good things to choose from. And I gotta keep, I guess, in theory, if I'm gonna have some chance of like the list being the ones that we're saving from oblivion or whatever we're talking about.
I don't think it will be.
No,
I
sure.
know our Facebook group. I don't think yours is gonna be saved.
I don't get dropped. I have somebody wants to tug at my heartstrings. I guess I'm gonna go with. Okay, this is one of the first CDs that I got when I started to. I'm not saying I love it or it's like, but it is a great album that I think is like indicative of a sound of '94 and something that sort of stands the test of time in a little bit of a way. Hootie and the Blowfish, Cracked Rear View, $1 on that bid.
I mean, this is a great time, if any, to talk about the Patreon. Whenever these episodes come out that weekend on the Patreon, Chris and I run down who had the most critically acclaimed list and who had the most financially successful list based on units sold. And I mean, I think Jim has almost sealed the deal. If he gets Hootie and the Blowfish, he has definitely sealed the deal on the most financially successful list, because this album, I think, is still among like the 10 best selling records in the history of music.
If I remember correctly, this was the best-selling album of a best-selling like CD release of all time for a little while. Like first week sales, it had some record that got beaten by like NSYNC a few years later when the boy band craze really took off. But this
this has hits on it. We're talking Hold My Hand, Let Her Cry, Only Want to Be With You. Kind of a forgotten hit for them now, but Time, which I think is probably the best of the singles in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
All right, $1. I'll go 5. I'll go $5 on Hootie.
I'm going to keep Hootie in the arsenal. I'm going to go to 6.
This was the first CD I was ever given as a gift.
Yeah, I remember I got this as a birthday gift for sure. I'm looking at the other options real quick because I got 2 slots here, and I got a lot of money to spend. You know what? Just to be a dick, I'm going to 15 on it.
Nice. Well, I'm going to let you have it for $15.
Okay, there we go.
I guess it help. I mean, I don't know for anybody else. If you're just not going to bid, just say you're not. You're out or whatever. We'll
I'm
pretend
out.
it's
Yeah,
Shark
yeah,
Tank.
yeah. That's
And
fair.
then that way
That's
we
good.
don't wait till somebody tries to sneak in and do something. Right? Okay.
All right, Matt.
It's me. So I still need 2 albums.
Yep.
Chris,
right now,
yeah, where are we
Tony
at?
needs 2. I need 1. Chris is tapped out. Jim needs 1. You need 2.
I could theoretically still bid and drop one of the ones
That's
I have.
true. We've done
Yeah.
that before. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
6 and drop
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
If you
But
have.
he'd have to. He only has $6 for that bidding. So
Gotcha. I'm gonna do, man. Like Chris was saying, I have Weezer Blue Album. I have like an indie rock staple. I have Biggie, like a hip hop staple. I have Soul Coughing, which is like the weirdo, like music snob staple. I don't have. I want something a little bit edgy. You know what? For $1, what I think is an absolutely essential emo /
I knew it was coming.
this would come up. Yeah.
Sunny Day Real Estate Diary.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out on this.
I'm out.
I'm out.
$1 for
$1.
Diary.
$1 for Sunny Day Real Estate,
Ah.
which means Matt's final album. He has 9 buccarinos to spend on
right.
it. So
I feel very, very good about that. That's a big one for me.
Dues. All right, Tony, your last one to throw out there.
My last one to throw out there.
Which I guess is worth noting here. We should throw this out there because Tony only has 3 and the rest of us have 4. If he doesn't outbid one of us, essentially he's just going to be handed his 5th album.
No, he can bid. He can nominate.
Okay.
That's how like a football one would work. At the end, he
All
could.
right, fair.
Yeah, if we get there.
I've been saving my grunge bucks, I think, so I'm gonna go for Pearl Jam Vitalogy.
Good
I remember
one.
that was like the coolest looking CD set.
Yep.
So yeah,
Another big one I'm surprised had not come up yet.
Yeah, how much are you spent on that one?
I'll spend $2 on it.
Tony, I would also like to note that the first track on this album is the theme song to the Bill Simmons podcast.
100%. That is very important. And I always listen to it when I would listen to Simmons. It'd be at like 1.5 speed, which is a horrible way to hear most people's voices, but especially Bill Simmons. But the song sounds, it's corduroy, right? No, that's no.
Maybe
okay,
Spin the Black Circle. Or it's the first song. It's the song goes, "Let the ocean burn away my mask. 3 days."
Hell yeah. I know it much
Last
faster
exit?
than that.
Yeah.
At 1.5 speed, but I'll listen to this episode at that, and then it'll work itself out.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's Last Exit.
Last
is the
Exit,
opening
yeah.
track. I mean, you get Better Man, you get Corduroy, you get one of the songs I loved on this album, Satan's Bed.
You get Bugs. You get the scariest song of all time, scarier than anything on Downward Spiral. The final track called "Hey Foxy Mop Handle Mama, That's Me," which is very disturbing song.
Bugs is pretty messed up too.
Yeah, Bugs is wild.
I'm not going to fight you on this one, actually, so I'm tapping out for the $2.
I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out too.
All right.
All right, it's yours for $2.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Good get.
All right, so now one last one. I'm looking at a crazy pile of albums still in front of me, and $35 to spend. And there's the heart picks, right? There's the ones where I really like this album, right? But we're talking about an album that might get wiped off the face of the earth, which is not ideal. So I think I'm going to try to spend most of my cash here, and starting with $10 so that knocks out Chris and Jim.
And me.
Chris and Matt, actually. And Matt. I'm going to go for $10, the Nirvana MTV Unplugged performance live in New York City.
You know, Matt, I really thought for a minute, I was like, is no one going to say this?
Yeah,
Because,
I mean, this is probably, if we were talking about how The Crow was one of the best soundtracks of all time, this is easily the best Unplugged performance of all time, but also probably one of the best live albums of all time. Just like
Matt, I'm going to go ahead and disagree with you a little bit. There is something called 10,000 Maniacs Unplugged.
I'm still going to
Before
go
you
with
throw
this
the
one over
crown
10,000
on this
Maniacs.
one. Oh, what? Did 10,000 Maniacs not do enough Meat Puppets covers on their Unplugged?
They picked the 3 best songs by the
They
Meat
did
Puppets to
3
cover.
Meat Puppets covers. Nobody should be doing 3 Meat Puppets covers.
It's a
Not
testament.
even the Meat Puppets.
It's a testament to how wild this release is. That Nirvana did this and 3 Meat Puppets covers in a row.
Yeah.
Alongside a Bowie cover and a Vaseline. I mean, they really did not talk about zero fucks given. Like they just went for it.
And I think that's what I like about it.
That's what I like about it too.
We did a show, like a charity show years ago, where it was just local bands covering another band. Like this is the thing that happens all over the place. And I remember Team Goldie was on that show, and Team Goldie did a whole Weezer set, which was really fun. But this other band, who I won't name, showed up, and they did a Nirvana set, and they played none of Nirvana's hits. It was all deep cuts. Mm-hmm. And I remember Matt DiStefano standing next to me, and he just goes, if you paid money to see Nirvana and Nirvana didn't play any of their hits, that'd be really cool. But paying money to see a Nirvana cover band not play any songs is very, very pretentious. So that's why I love this album. $10. Really, Tony and Jim are the only people who could try to outbid this.
This album's great, but I think it's mostly because of the sweater that Kurt wore.
It's all about that cardigan?
I'll sit it out. I got my grunge on for this draft, so I'm good.
Yeah, I'll go with $11. Why not?
Okay, there we go.
Wow. After all that, he's in.
I'll go 12.
13.
I'm just going to go 19, so you can't buy it. And that's the end of it.
That's the end of it, okay.
It's been officially boxed out. That's good. That was the bidding war that album deserved, at least a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Chris, you're next. Now, this is kind of either an album you'd be willing to drop something for, or for the remaining people.
Right.
We've got Tony, Matt, and Jim can go in on.
I can nominate this, and then I could just instantly drop it if I get it for $1.
Yeah.
Man, there are 3 punk rock albums out there where I'm like, damn. And I don't even know which one to do. I'm trying to think of which one Tony's going to spend money on.
And I can see all 3 of them on my long list.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I'm going to throw this out here because I believe that Tony and I have talked about this particular song that's on this album. I'm going to say the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Question the Answers.
Oh, my God.
Which, of course, this album has Toxic Toast, Kinder Words, Pictures to Prove It. I don't know. I'm throwing it out there for $1.
that was not one of the 3 I was thinking of.
A testament to how many records came out that year. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm out on that one.
I think this is the first CD I bought with my own hard-earned paper route money, and listened to in my now late friend Ryan's basement while shooting some pool.
Wow.
To quote Drake, "I will spend whatever on it." I will. This wasn't even on my list, but I am shaken to the core, and I have to do my best, and I'll pay $5 for it realistically.
Okay, I'm out. It's yours unless someone else wants it.
No, that's okay.
Let the birthday boy have it for $5.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first band I ever saw live too. Bosstones and Hepcat.
That's a good one too.
In middle school.
Good one.
All right. So Tony's got a full list. I've got a full list. Chris has a full list. So this kind of worked out perfectly. Jim and Matt have their last 2 picks.
Nice. So I have one left,
war.
right? And Matt has one left is what you're saying? Or
Yeah, you've got one slot
so
open.
I got to
and
fill
Matt's
out
got
my
one slot
wild ass
open.
list. I'm going to throw it out here. I thought about this last time. It went with Hootie, but I'm going to go with TLC, Crazy, Sexy, Cool.
That's a good one. I thought about that
Guess
one.
it starts at $1.
That is a good one. It was funny. I actually held off on Boys to Men because this was what I thought was going to fill a similar spot on my list. But now that I'm at
Jim,
my last
you're doing
one,
it for $1?
Yeah, I'm starting at $1. Why not?
All right.
Why not? Agreed. Oh boy, do I want this as my last album, or do I have one of these other? Because if I say no to this, then I truly have my pick of the last record here. Like it's just whatever I want.
So think about what your next pick is.
Oh, that's not true. I could be outbid.
More?
You're right. I could actually be outbid by someone.
If we wanted
to
true. Drop. Yeah.
That is true. If I name just the greatest thing that someone with more money than me still sitting.
Yeah.
And there's
so many things left on
There's
this
still
list.
at least 2 albums There's at least 2 albums that I think people on this would maybe drop something for.
I am going to pass on Crazy Sexy Cool.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Welcome.
What a bargain.
Jim finally got a good album.
Yeah.
God damn, Chris. Man, I'll tell you. We can have a
he's
little
a
breakdown
rookie.
afterwards.
You're a draft rookie, man. I gotta give you a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, that's
All right.
true.
I mean, real quick, I
right.
guess we sped through some of these, but yeah, Crazy Sexy Cool, Waterfalls, Creep, Red Light Special,
Red Light Special.
and a ton
Oh
of
my
other
God.
great songs. All right, Milligan, your final pick, kind of whatever you really want, but
Kind of whatever I want. And I mean, we're definitely going to have to go through an honorable mentions
very
round
much
here because there's a bunch. And I'm really like, there are so many like incredible hip hop records to come out this year. And I am being torn between picking an absolute hip hop classic, but I already have Ready to Die. So I think in terms of, I got to pick something else. And I am going to pick.
I want the record to show that I know what hip hop classic you're thinking of,
Yeah, I
but
know
in
what
my
it
brain, I'm pretending you're talking about ICP's The Ringmaster.
Obviously,
we're
all
there's this hip
thinking
hop
it.
classic.
That's your poker
we're all
face,
gunning
Matt.
for it.
No, I'm going to say, I'm surprising myself a little bit with this, but I think it's worth saving. Yeah, I'm going to say Jeff Buckley, Grace.
Oh,
man.
Which is a hugely important record for me. I'm a little bit reluctant to save his version of Hallelujah, which has been overdone a million times. Like, I feel like we could use a break from that in our lives, but also it's worth saving, really. So,
Everybody
yes.
Here Wants You. That song.
Oh my God, yeah. No, that record is, and Last Goodbye, and I mean, there's some amazing stuff on that album. Just
I'm
incredible.
Botch the name of this. Lover You Shouldn't Have Come or whatever.
Lover
that
You
song's
Should Have Come
called.
Over, yeah.
Yeah, Lover You Should Have Come Over.
What a romantic album. Chris, this is just making me want to talk about Greg Wood for like 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I'll put it at, well, I mean, I only need to bid $1, so I'm going to bid $1.
Okay. I'm not gonna drop one of mine for that, but that's a good one.
Neither am I, but it is a great album.
That might be it. I think. Right?
Is that it?
I think that's.
Can I propose?
That's it.
Can I propose one more thing?
Yeah.
Before we tap out here, I'm going to say this. In this scenario, we're in some sort of crazy vortex where we're grabbing whatever CDs we can get to run and escape being obliterated with everything in 1994. I think on your way running out of the house, you can grab one more, and we do it in order. This isn't a bidding thing. We go in order. You can grab one more honorable mention on your way out, and stuff it in your back pocket. But you got to do it quick. You got 5 seconds. Tony, you're running.
Right, Tony.
You're running, Tony. You're running. 5.
Oh, man. Okay.
4.
Funniest album title
3.
of all time, possibly, and it ended up being a good album. Frank Black, Teenager of the Year.
Okay. You got
Great.
Frank Black. Matt Kelly, you're running. What are you grabbing?
I'm running. Oh my God. I am going to grab, because I fucking love this album, REM Monster.
Okay, he got Monster. Oh, damn, Jim.
That was what I was gonna grab.
Jim wanted to add another average album to his list.
All right, Chris, you're running.
I'm
You're running.
I'm running.
Things are burning down.
There's 2 punk albums sitting there. I'm grabbing the one on the right. I'm grabbing Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction.
That was one of the ones I thought you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, the flames are flying around you. What are you
Jim, Lasers and Flames. What average-ass album are you going to grab?
Blues Traveler 4 is just staring
It's not
at
gonna be that. No, it's not. It's gonna be. Oh man, I guess I'm gonna have to grab. I'm gonna grab.
Oh no, there's Sponge in the corner.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab Toadie's Rubberneck.
Oh, he did a good job.
That was actually what I was going to grab instead of Monster. Jim, we're so insane.
Matt Milligan, hurry up. Jump through the portal. What are you grabbing?
All right, I'm going to grab, what I was talking about before. I'm going to grab Illmatic. by Nas.
Illmatic, okay. Yeah, I thought that's what you're talking about. I would have grabbed Stillmatic if it was a few years later, but
So, actually, you know what? I'm looking at in retrospect, I'm thinking about this right now with the context that we set up and looking at Jim's list compared to a lot of our other lists. If only the year 1994 is being wiped off the planet. All the bands on our list are fine except for the ones in Jim's. Jim really saved a lot of the bands that only had 1994 as the year where people would care about them. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Well,
yeah, Jim was like,
Just
"Oh man,
how
Bush and the Toadies need us."
Thanks so much for saving Bush, Jim. Let's talk for a second. What albums have been obliterated? I'll tell you one. Rancid's "Let's Go" is obliterated. We will never know. We will never know the song "Salvation."
Well, the other, when you said that you were looking at 3 punk albums, the other one I was thinking was Lagwagon Trashed.
Yeah, that one could be obliterated. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll miss Know It All, but they had better albums later. So,
one of the soundtracks that I had written down, I was never ever going to bid on this because it literally would have been for no one to bid against me. I have always loved the Clerks soundtrack. It's like a soundtrack that no one thinks about, but I really, really like that as being.
I think about that all the time. Suzanne,
like it's like a '94 grunge album that's just like perfect.
What else is obliterated, Matt? You probably have a list.
I have a pretty decent list. Do we want to we'll just jump one album at a time until we're out of things?
Just cruise down the list of things that got.
No, that's fine. So the stuff that I wrote down, I had Dave Matthews Band, Under the Table and Dreaming, that has Ants Marching on it.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. The first Korn album, which this actually, well, no, but this actually is like a weird. This is like one of those like weird Mandela effects because I don't think of Korn as a 1994 band. This album came out before the Nirvana Unplugged album was released, which is really weird for me to process. Portishead Dummy was something I had written down.
I had that down too, yeah.
Yeah. Cranberries, No Need to Argue with Zombie was right there. One of my favorite albums by Madonna Bedtime Stories came out this year. Cake's first album, Motorside of Generosity. Of course, Sass Jordan Rats was on my list. Gwar, This Toilet Earth featuring Saddam Agogo, Gone. Hole, Live Through This with Doll Parts.
That's actually a pretty good album.
Yeah,
that is a good album.
Another album for the lads, and my favorite album by this band, Blur Park Life, came out.
Park Life, good one.
He could just be wiped off the planet in 2024 too, and it's fine. Marilyn Manson's first album, Portrait of an American Family.
That is actually a good album.
That is a good album.
Yeah, that's a really good album.
Yeah.
Terrible man, but good album.
Yeah.
A great tribute album. If I Were a Carpenter, the Carpenter tribute album of all grunge bands covering Carpenter songs.
That is a really good one, actually, yeah. I know that one well.
Sonic Youth doing Superstar is awesome.
Yes.
Bare Naked Ladies, one of their more underrated albums, Maybe You Should Drive. And then the last one, I never know how to pronounce this name. It's the Toad the Wet Sprocket album that has the painting of the 2 flowers on it.
It's like Dulce something.
Yeah,
Dulcinea.
Dulcinea, yes. So those are the ones I had. Did anyone else have stuff that I didn't name?
In the punk rock world, Jawbreakers, 24-Hour Revenge Therapy.
Right.
I considered that for a moment. I love that record. Also in the hip-hop world, the Outkast, Southern Playlist, whatever that is.
If it was literally any other Outkast album, that's a good album, but compared to like every album that came after it, it's kind of a weak entry.
Yeah, and also in the hip-hop world, Diggable Planets, Blowout Comb, which is also like an amazing New York hip-hop record. Just for stuff that's important to me, the album John Henry by They Might Be Giants, one of their most underrated records, but that is a great album of theirs.
Yeah.
Pavements, Crooked Rain. Guided by Voices, B1000, in the sort of like indie punk rock world. What else do I have here? That might be it for me.
Yeah.
All right.
My whole list.
Anyone else have anything?
My whole list was either drafted or, or said already.
All right. Cool.
Except for, I don't know, I think I might have had Eagles, Hell Freezes Over. I don't know if everybody said that. But
I mean, that had Get Over It on it. I did love that song.
As a lit song or an album on a list. But yeah, I could have saved it and I didn't. So sorry guys.
Right. Well, quick reminder to the people, go to Facebook and look up the OHT podcast. I think it's facebook.com/OHT podcast, or obviously just search One Hit Thunder and vote who had the best list.
Should we run down our list?
Yes,
I don't think we actually who got what. Yeah.
Yeah, so Tony, you got Green Day Dookie. Beck, Mellow Gold, Oasis, definitely maybe. Vitalogy from Pearl Jam, and the Boss Tones, Question the Answers. And then on your way out of the store, you also grab Frank Black, Teenager of the Year.
Yeah.
I had Beastie Boys, Ill Communication, Stone Temple Pilots, Purple, Live, Throwing Copper, Hootie and the Blowfish, Cracked Rear View, Nirvana, Unplugged. And then on my way out, I grabbed REM's Monster. Chris, do you want to do yours real quick? All right.
I got Nine Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral. I got Ween's Chocolate and Cheese. I got the Crow soundtrack. No Effects' Punkin' Drublick. Boyz II Men 2. And on my way out, I grabbed Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction.
Jim?
Okay, so I think I'm from ones I remember I got Soundgarden, Super Unknown, which I didn't necessarily want, but I'm super proud of for having because it's got a lot of great jams on it if we want to go back down the list. I got Tom Petty, Wildflowers, which
you missed one. Offspring, Smash, and then Tom Petty,
I was going to say that, right? So I didn't realize in order. Okay, so the Offspring, Smash, great album, a lot of great memories for me and playing Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, listening to that in the background. Then got Tom Petty, Wildflowers, fantastic album. Matt said a lot of great positive words about it. I bet Tom was listening to and probably really appreciated hearing. It's totally true. There's great jams on there. The fourth record was Bush, 16 Stone, one of my favorites. And a concert that I was going to go to when I was a teenager, my parents wouldn't let me go to it. So all my friends got to go see Bush and No Doubt and whoever the hell else was with them, and I didn't get to see it. They talk about it all the time, about how it was such a great show, and I wasn't there because I wasn't allowed to go, which is awful. And then I rounded the bases with a TLC, Crazy Sexy Cool, a fantastic album, an album that Trisha, my wife, is going to love that I took and added to the list, and that's going to be great. So thanks, guys.
And then you grabbed the Toadies on the way out.
That's
you
right, the Toadies.
Too.
Such names.
Yep, and I spent a lot of money to get a copy of the Blue Album by Weezer. Then I got Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die, Ruby Vroom by Soul Coughing, Diary by Sunny Day Real Estate, and Grace by Jeff Buckley. And then on the way out, I casually grabbed also one of the greatest hip-hop records of all time, Illmatic by Nas.
Nice. All right. Well, that was our longest draft by a large margin, but with this many great albums, you know, what can you do? Jim, thank you for joining us as a guest drafter. I think the next one we're doing for the core four and a guest will be 84. So
84.
Oh boy.
Yeah, start thinking about 84. That'll be in a couple months. And in the meantime, every Wednesday, Chris and I are talking about one-hit wonders with some great people. So we'll be back very soon.
Songs of hopelessness on this record. You won't find songs that leave you feeling lost.
This has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Afalios of the band Punchline and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing 70 off the Punchline album Delightfully Pleased. Go to punchlinemusic.com for any upcoming news on the band. Our podcast is on Patreon now. Find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote for future songs for us to cover. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on any podcasting app, and tune in next week for more One Hit Thunder.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Hey, are you planning to get an updated COVID-19 vaccine?
Yep, I don't want to get seriously sick and miss out on spending time with friends and family.
Does it cost a lot? I don't have insurance.
If you don't have health insurance, or if your insurance doesn't cover an updated COVID-19 vaccine, you can get one for free with the Bridge Access program. Just look for places that participate in Bridge Access. on vaccines.gov.
Sounds good. Bridge access on vaccines.gov.
A message from CDC.
Hey, this is Chris Swinney, formerly of the Ataris and currently host of That One Time on Tour, part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. Have you ever wondered what it's really like on the road? The highs can be euphoric, but the lows can be crushing. Join me every week as I chat with industry pros about what it's like living out their wildest dream and, in some cases, their worst nightmare. Past guests of the show include members of NoFX, Pennywise, Bad Religion, and more. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.